All right, mathletes, so if you're ready, I'm ready. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at these piecewise functions. All right, so what we have is we have this function, and when we're looking at a piecewise function, it's a function that could be broken up into different pieces, right? Many pieces. It could be 2, it could be 3, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna evaluate these. And so what that means is they're gonna give us some x value, and we have to decide, which piece are we gonna enter that x value into. So let's take a look. So for this example, notice we're gonna use the function 2x minus 5 when x is less than, it has to be strictly less than 3. So if they give us f of 2, right, where x is 2, then we're allowed to use this function here, this part of the function, excuse me, because x is less than 2. But if they give us a number like 10, right, 10 is in this area, right, because it says use this piece of the function when x is bigger than or equal to 3. So 10 obviously fits that description. So then we use this piece. So how is that going to look? Let's go ahead and check it out. So let's plug in f of 0. Let's find f of 0. So we're going to evaluate this function when x equals 0. So once again, you start off over here and you have to decide, where does 0 live? And 0 is less than 3, right? This is where it lives. It's less than 3. So what that means is, boom, I come over here, and this is the part of the function where I'm going to plug it in. All right, so hopefully that's making sense. So where I see x, I'm plugging in that 0, and we totally ignore all this over here because 0 doesn't belong to this group. It belongs to this group right here. And now the easy part, right? We just plug it in and calculate here. So 2 times 0 is 0 minus 5, and so we end up with negative 5 there. So f of 0 equals negative 5. So there we go. It's that easy. So let's do another one. Let's pick any number here. Let's plug in 4. All right. So 4, we could see, lives here because 4 is greater than 3, right? So what that means is I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to plug it in, boom, into this part of the function, this piece. So let's go ahead and use that. So we're going to have 3 times 4 plus 1. And so you're like, oh man, it's actually not so bad. And the key to so much of what we do in math is understanding, what the heck does this look like? So before you get intimidated, right, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Math, like this video, and we'll take the fear out of it for you. We'll make it this easy. And again, do us a favor, help us out, because YouTube, you got to suggest our videos to more people, right? We're trying to help people out, and you're over there hiding us. So mathletes, do us a big favor, like the button, throw us a comment down below if we're being helpful, right? Again, we're trying to help out as many people as possible. And YouTube, you got to make it easier on us. All right, so is that making sense, guys? Fantastic. Follow me for our next example. All right, so this is a really good example, and this is one that people all over the world struggle with. All right, why? Number one, it looks intimidating, right? Kind of like this guy. And number two, there's just a lot of pieces, right? There's a lot of moving pieces going on. So let's break this down and let me help you. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pick a number here. I'm gonna say 10, f of 10. We'll start off with the hardest one. It's really the easiest one, but it looks to be the most confusing. All right, so f of 10, first of all, we say, where does it live? Am I going to use this equation, or this part of the equation, I should say? Well, x is 10, so is x less than negative 1? Absolutely not. Is it between negative 1 and 3? Nope. Is it greater than or equal to 3? Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is, typically I'll take this input, this 10, and I'll plug it into my equation. But check it out. There's no x here. And many of you are thinking like, man, I wish I had no x.
Boo! You stink!
But there's no x, and that confuses some of you, right? And what this part of the function is saying is, as long as x is greater than or equal to 3, my output is always going to be 2, right? Because there's nowhere to plug in that x. So it doesn't matter what x is, your height is always going to be 2. So when I plug in 10, right, we just said the height is always 2 because this piece is a constant function, right? It's just a straight horizontal line if I were to graph this. And you're going to see us make a video of how to graph these functions coming soon. But make sure you like this video, all right? So f of 10, it's 2. It's that easy. So if I said f of 100, you already know, oh, 100 is greater than 3. My answer is 2. Plain and simple. All right. Next piece, let's go with f of 2. Right, so if I plug in f of 2, I go through that same process. Is 2 less than -1? Nope, so I don't use that one. Is 2 between -1 and 3? Absolutely. So because of that, I'm going to use this function here. So I have negative, I'll put parentheses squared. What am I plugging in there? Boom, that 2. So that parentheses is important because a lot of people make the mistake and they'll say -2 squared. No, it's 2 squared first, and that negative is going to come along for the ride. So our answer is just -4, and you're done. So make a big note of that. That negative is staying on the outside. Just when, for you, when you run across that situation right there. And let's do another one that tends to confuse people. F of 3. And the reason this leads to confusion is because you're like, wait, I have a 3 right here and a 3 right here. But remember, when I say f of 3, x is 3, so is 3 included in this region? Well, look what it says here. It says x is strictly less than 3, so it's actually not included here, so we're not using this piece. Is 3 included here? Well, it says greater than 3 or equal to 3, so yes. So we're using this function right here, and boom, it's that easy, folks. All right, so just to make sure you know what's going on, we got a little quiz for you. So go ahead and copy this down. So we have f of 1, 2, 3. It's as easy as A, B, C. Please don't do that. All right, so let's go ahead and f of 2. Press pause. Let's see what you get. All right, so f of 2, let's see how we did. 2 is in this region because we said x is including 2. What's my output? I plug it in. There's nowhere to plug it in, we said. So all 3 of these are constant functions. So as long as your, if your x is inside of this region, your answer is always going to be 2. That easy. All right, so let's see if you get this one. F of 1000. Go ahead and press pause. Do that. Should take you a couple seconds if you understand. All right, so f of 1000, we know that's greater than 2, so our answer is 3. All right, folks, so hopefully this was helpful. Again, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you mathletes in our next video. Peace.